Another episode of Building the Premier Accounting Firm. I'm your host, Roger Connect, president of Universal Accounting Center. And each and every week we have on the show experts to share with us various insights and things that we should understand about running a successful business, offering quality accounting services, and obviously getting paid what we're worth. It's here on this show, the podcast, that we actually dive into various things each and every week as they relate to training your staff, tech stacks, onboarding clients, retaining clients, pricing, strategies related to marketing and sales. And that's some of the things that we're going to be diving into today. Now, my guest is someone that I'm excited to speak with. She's someone I've been looking forward to. It is Katie Thomas. She is a CPA and has been recognized as one of the 40 under 40 CPA practice advisor recipients, top 50 women in accounting recipient, and also the owner of Leaders Online. Now, with regards to Leaders Online, they actually help accounting professionals and business to accountant companies increase their impact, influence, and income through digital marketing. So, Katie, welcome to the show.
Hi, Roger. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, those accolades that you received, well deserved. You've accomplished quite a bit, and I'm excited to share your story. Give us an idea of what your background is in accounting, how you became an accountant, a CPA.
Yeah, so I'll actually go back a little bit even before that, because usually people are like, wait, you're a CPA and you do marketing. Like, how did all this come together? Kind of that left, right brain thing going on.
Yep.
And so I grew up in a family that had a small business, and I always had that entrepreneurial spirit. I was building websites well before I should have been, before I was even a teenager, doing SEO and Google Ads in the golden era where they were so cheap. And I really loved marketing and I loved sales. I thought it was awesome. And so when I went to college, I had this entrepreneurial spirit, but I also was told, sometimes there are maybe better degrees that you can get than just marketing that can set you up for future success if you do want to go down the business track. And
Great advice.
yeah, thankfully I got that and I took accounting and I loved it. And I heard, hey, it's the language of business. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do accounting. Long story short, my university, they really promoted going ahead and getting your master's degree and taking the CPA if you got an accounting degree, which again, great advice. So I did that. And while I was working in the Big Four, I was not only missing marketing, but I realized there was this trend. A lot of the accountants there, they were really good at what they did, but when it came to business development, that was not something they enjoyed. And Roger, I remember I went to one of the partners there and, I was only a handful of years into my career. And I said, hey, could I do business development? Could I help with marketing? And they looked at me and basically laughed like, no, that's the partner's job. And so I thought, you know what? If this is a common problem at these bigger firms, what's it like for all the other firms out there? And I had a hunch that they too probably didn't enjoy marketing. And while some things had changed over the years, a lot of marketing is foundational. And a lot of what I did and I grew up doing and I did all the way throughout college with helping working at this small business, I thought, you know what, I'm going to see if I can help accounting firms grow. And so I left. And at first it was just me working with really small firms. And now we still work with some firms that are just maybe one partner and they have a handful of staff. But we also work with a lot of firms that are in the top 1 and 200 and help them with their marketing. So it's been a journey and I love, love, love the accounting profession. And I'm so thankful that there's been a way I could combine my love for marketing and getting to work with, honestly, the best people out there.
I love it. You're well-rounded. That's one of the things. So one of the things that I think really stands out here is clearly you got the accounting experience. You're a CPA, but to be that unique individual that goes into the partners and say, hey, is there some way I can help with the marketing? I'd like to participate in this. And then to basically say, well, that's the job of the partner. How unique are you and how special is it that you actually had an interest in it and you yet weren't partner? And they didn't tap into it. I'm astonished that they didn't recognize the gem that they had in front of them, but clearly you took that, ran and started offering services as it related to marketing and growing a business. And this is where I'd like to go next. I think it's important to define what marketing is, but before defining it, I'd like to emphasize the importance of it, which is to say you can be a phenomenal accountant, a phenomenal tax preparer, an excellent bookkeeper, but unless you have paying customers, it doesn't matter. You can be wonderful in shooting the basketball, but unless you're on the court playing the game, it doesn't matter how much practice you've been doing. You eventually have got to play and perform, and you've got to be paid for this. That's why we're doing this. Is it's obviously a service we're trying to provide and get paid for. So the point is how would you first of all define marketing as it relates to the accounting profession?
Marketing is simply putting a message out there and creating a perception to the public in a way that you hope to be perceived. And so I think that this is where a lot of accountants go actually wrong. And they think that marketing is something that, one, if you aren't doing anything, you aren't marketing. That's not true. You're still sending a message to the public, whether or not you're actively participating in how you're being perceived. That's another question. So doing quote unquote nothing, you're still doing something. You're creating a perception. And two, the other thing is, a lot of times firms will say, you know what, we've been doing this a long time. We get referrals. We don't need to do quote unquote marketing. And the thing is, marketing is not just for attracting new clients. It's getting better clients. So, ones that pay more, utilize the services you want to offer, are kinder to you and your staff. They follow directions like using your tech stack. It helps retain your existing clients. I would bet that most people listening, they probably have a few, hopefully, clients that they'd be really sad if they lost today. And if you aren't marketing and controlling that perception and showing like, hey, we are the premier firm, we are providing top of the line solutions to you, solving your pain points, you know who is your competition. Roger, I'm sure you've heard about and seen and worked with firms that have witnessed the talent shortage. Something huge is actually using marketing to attract talent. The talent you want, they are on social media, as well as retain your staff. If they're seeing all these firms doing really innovative things on social media, sharing their story, sharing what opportunities are available for these staff, these seniors, these managers, they're going to want to pay attention to that. And so retention and attracting staff is huge, as well as, let's circle all the way back to referral partners. A part of really creating strong referral partners is having a good marketing program in place for them to make it very clear, hey, these are the type of clients we work with. Here's how we can work with them. Hey, this is the way that you should connect us with them. And by the way, if this is something you offer, here's incentives that we can provide you with for sending us people. All of that is essential for every single firm owner that wants to create a profitable, long-lasting firm. It's not just about more clients.
Yeah, one of the things that I think is very important about what you just shared is there is this mindset sometimes in accounting of marketing as a spigot that you turn on and off. And when I need clients, I'll just turn it back on. And it's this presumption that, okay, I need a client this month, I'll just start marketing this month. When in reality, the marketing is always going on. And like you said, it is something that is continually happening, whether you're intending to or not. I like to refer to it as your first impression. Everybody's going to have a first impression of you. And if you come across as indifferent and insensitive to business needs, they're going to sense that because you just don't need a client right now. Well, great. They're feeling as if you don't care about them. When in reality, you've got to have that curiosity and interest in these potential clients, have those conversations that ask about what they do and why they do it. And whether or not they need your services today is irrelevant. The fact is that you're showing interest in them. And eventually through the nurturing process, as it sells, you're going to then eventually have that conversation down the line that allows you to get a new engagement. But the marketing doesn't just start today when I'm meeting a client. It begins so much earlier. So I really liked how you were trying to emphasize that. So here's another question. A lot of businesses are trying to grow their businesses remotely, which is to say not with clients in their local area, perhaps. And so they're leaning on various things online to hopefully market and sell their services. So that brings up the question of social media. I know that you've got some thoughts and opinions of it, but what is the preferred platform that you find accounting professionals are leveraging to get clients?
Yeah, so it really depends on not just like what services and where they want to offer. Like, let's just say, hey, I'm an accountant. I want to serve all over the US and maybe I want to offer a handful of services like advisory, accounting, tax, payroll, kind of the standard offerings these days.
Hmm.
Then you really want to ask yourself two things. One, what platform enables you to easily find your ideal clients? So a lot of times this is going to be you want to have some sort of focus on a marketing niche. This doesn't mean that you can't work with multiple niches, multiple business owners, but you need some sort of focus where you can actually go out and find people. Because if you try to market to everyone, you end up marketing to no one. And the second question is, when you're thinking about, okay, what social media platform do I really want to focus on, is what platform plays to my content creation strengths. So everyone's on all these platforms everywhere. If you try to say doctors aren't on Facebook or they're not on TikTok, like they are today.
Hmm.
But if you're someone who says, you know what, I'm not really into posting videos, that's okay, but don't pick TikTok or don't pick Instagram. Don't pick a platform that's going to set you up for failure. Pick one that supports you creating content. And for a lot of accountants, a great platform is LinkedIn, because you can find most types of business owners, and it supports all of your content creation efforts, whether that's written posts, that's videos, that's photos. So really make sure you know who it is you're looking for, and then what platform is going to support you actually doing the work on social media.
I like that. Now, one of the things I would add is pick one and go deep, go very deep into it, in the sense that if you're going to say, let's do LinkedIn as an example, if you're going to do it, you need to be posting regularly. You need to actually get on and engage with various individuals, participate in conversations, comment on posts. I mean, find the groups that you can actually go in and actually contribute to. And so it's then you just kind of go deep in that platform. And until you've done everything you feel that you can reasonably within that platform, don't be overwhelmed with, but there's another platform. I need to do LinkedIn and TikTok. I need to do LinkedIn and X. All of a sudden what happens is you become overwhelmed by it. So if you can do one, great, that's better than doing all some. So anything you'd add to that?
Yeah, so we actually recommend just always starting with one and
Hmm.
following it's our 4C process. So you choose your platform, and as part of choosing it, you're going to actually optimize it. So your bio, your tagline, your headline, or your headshot, you're going to make it very clear what you do, for who, how you help them. So choose your platform as number one, and then connect with your people every single day. Kind of like what you were saying, like go out, you need to engage with your people. So you're going to connect with them, whether that's finding them through groups, that's finding them directly, like using Sales Navigator. Maybe it's through influencers. So a great way to find people is, like, for example, if you work with lawyers, find the business coach for lawyers and go and see who's following them. This can give you a total, like, just community right off the bat of people who are your ideal clients. And then actually converse with them. So this is not spamming them. We've all gotten those spam messages. They don't work, but it's having real conversations. It's asking how they got into their industry, what led them to start their business, what their goals are. And then the fourth thing is to actually create the content. So a lot of people think, hey, I've got a social media profile, I'm good. Or maybe they think, I've got that social media profile and I'm posting some stock content, I'm good. No, you need unique content that leads with your unique point of view. It busts myths, it shares stories, transformations. All of that is required for social media to get the outcome that you're looking for, whether that's to build your brand, find new clients, do any of the other marketing efforts that we talked about.
I like two things of what you just shared. You mentioned unique selling proposition. You didn't say it specifically, but you did mention your unique offering. But the second thing that you also talked about is stories. And I think one of the things that's very helpful is potential customers can relate to your current customers if you tell the current customer story. And that current story could be very compelling and interesting. How that client of yours got into business and what they were doing, and your interactions with them as the accounting services you're providing, and how that's been beneficial. That narrative may resonate with the potential customer because they can see them in that journey. And then all of a sudden, that need for, what am I going to write about next? What's the next thing I'm going to talk about? Well, clearly just talk about your clients, just highlight them, tell their story, quote them, promote them. And then in doing so, you'll hopefully relate with your other clients. So a lot of good things in there. I'm curious as it relates to Chat GPT. A lot of times people bring up AI and wonder, is there anything I can use as it relates to marketing these AI platforms and maybe make what I'm trying to do in marketing easier? Have you found a use for AI as it relates to marketing?
Yeah, so I think it's definitely helpful if you're using it to simply help you. We've all seen the posts that are on social media that ChatGPT clearly wrote. There's all these emojis. It's using words like let's delve into it together. And they're not authentic. They're not engaging. I mean, the same goes for blog posts and newsletters. So that's the key there is you're not using it to replace you. It helps you. And so some of the ways that I like to use it, my team likes to use it, is one, it's super good at editing. So let's say that you write up your social media content or your newsletter or your landing page and you say, hey, can you edit this? Or can you maybe let me know if I forgot to include anything that people might want to know about or might want to further understand? It's really, really good at that. It's also really good at helping with outlines. So let's say that you get off a client meeting and you're like, hey, I want to summarize all this, or maybe you have a blog post that you want to do and you just have all these jumbled thoughts and you want it to put it in an order that makes sense. It's super good at that. It's also really good if you want it to help you make something catchier. So let's say that you need help with a hook line for a social media post or a subject line for a newsletter. When you feed it the content that you have and you ask for that very specific thing, it's great for those things. It's just not good, at least yet, for actually creating things from scratch, which makes sense because really good marketing content, it leads with your unique point of view. It leads with your unique selling proposition. It's you. And I say you, it could be the firm, but that's ultimately that's the differentiator. And if AI is choosing that for you, that's probably not a good thing.
Yeah, yeah. The way I've found that AI has been helpful is kind of in the brainstorming phase. I want to write something, I'm not exactly sure on what it needs to be. So using prompts, I'll say, I'm trying to, you want to kind of guide the AI in the prompt. You're an accounting firm offering accounting services. You're wanting to write a blog or a post or a statement that says to a potential customer this. And you just start to have this dialogue with the AI as to, well, could you say it differently? Could you say it in fewer
Mm-hmm.
words? Could you say it in more words? Could you put it in bullet points? And as you go through this narrative, it's just as if you have somebody there to brainstorm with, just someone to kind of bounce the ideas off with. And all of a sudden, in the end, you didn't work alone. You collaborated, but came up with something that you're able to edit and you're able to put your own personal touch on it, your own voice to it, and then take it and publish it. So, kind of a nice little tool to use for brainstorming, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally. But like you said, you have to add back in your own voice. It's not just copy paste done.
Yeah, yeah, no, very, very true. So, with regards to marketing, you've got social media, you've got content SEO that you're working at. People are looking at something organic that might go viral over time. What is something that we could do quick that might have a quick return? However,
Yeah, so with the firms we work with, a lot of times we like to implement a long term strategy that's really going to build their brand, their thought leadership long term, get them to speak on stages, published in different online outlets, on podcasts. But like you said, that can take a long time. And so, coupled with that, is great to have some short term strategies to get some quick wins.
hmm
And for things like attracting new clients, we see huge success with meta ads. So
mm,
Facebook and Instagram ads. And these are great because they are something that you can turn them on and turn them off. But it's knowing that when you turn them off, there's no long term value really there. Like those people saw your ad, they either opted into it or they didn't. It's not like, hey, I saw them speak on this stage, or maybe, now you've seen them on a podcast, you can repurpose all of that. So it's really a turn on and turn off thing. But even with something like meta ads, that's always evolving, and what works today might not work tomorrow. For example, like a year or two ago, I'd say like 2 years ago, a lead magnet did really great on Meta. You could post a lead magnet, the 10 strategies that all veterinarians should be using. Someone would opt in for it. They would get that lead magnet and then a series of emails saying, like, basically, here are the strategies. We can help you implement this in your firm, book a call. Today, people have so much information. That's not an effective strategy if you want to book calls. It's more about having a really compelling offer, sharing a transformation, kind of like what we talked about before, those stories with a video ad, going straight to the calendar. That leads to a lot lower cost per call. We see it on our client side. So with all types of marketing, you have to stay up to date on changes and make sure that you're working with someone who does have the data to say, hey, this doesn't work. And then also just knowing, like, hey, what are your long-term goals? Because if it is to build that brand, then having those organic long-term strategies in place is really important alongside those kind of quick win type strategies.
I like that. The quick win is very important because when it comes to marketing, a lot of times we do need the clients quickly. So it's nice to have some effective things. And the funnel marketing is something I'm very familiar with. And I like the fact that you're able to extend something as part of your marketing offer, an ebook, a white paper, or something to the effect that they're willing to now provide their contact information. And now that I've got that contact information, they're in my CRM. And knowing that, I can do my email campaigns, I can do offers to them. I'm able to engage with them differently than hoping that the social media shows my ad again to that same person. I always have to wonder, will that platform do me a favor and show me again to that individual? And I don't know that. But once I've offered something and they've come into my funnel through a form, all of a sudden I've got that information that I can now take control over, and I can market as often, as much as I'd like to. And that puts me in control of that whole situation, allowing me to nurture that individual towards becoming a sell. So like what you're describing there. So I'm going to be curious here. You've worked with accounting professionals. You indicated at the beginning, large firms, small firms, solopreneurs. What is one of the things that you've learned is different than you as it relates to accountants when it comes to marketing? Because you are a unique person in the sense that both you and I enjoy the marketing. We enjoy getting out there and resonating in the marketplace with our potential clients. But for others, it's not that natural thing. What have you learned is the thing that probably holds them back the most?
Oh, that's a great question. What holds them back the most? It's absolutely them. It's interesting because you can be speaking with a firm owner or a partner. They have been very successful in their career and they are successful today, but they still fear, okay, if I put myself out there online, what are my clients going to think? What are my colleagues going to think? How is this post going to be perceived by so-and-so? And the thing about it is, you would never expect someone of that success to have that much fear. But I think it ties back to kind of like the idea that public speaking is often a lot of people's greatest fear. And until you do it, you're never going to get comfortable with it. And so it's been really cool to help people through that process of putting themselves out there. And even if it's something like we're ghostwriting it for them and helping them put themselves out there, we still work really closely with them to extract those ideas. And it's really neat to see then like what ripple effect that has, not only inspiring like people on their team now to start creating content and putting their self out there, but other firm partners even reaching out and being like, hey, that's really cool how you're, sharing these things. And now they're think and thought partners working together. So yeah, it's just surprising that I never would have guessed people of such, as society would say, high success still have this fear of essentially being seen.
Yep. Yeah, the way I would describe it is there's an insecurity about it. It's interesting that fear comes out as an insecurity. But what I would attribute it to is they oftentimes don't think that they are interesting. I'm not that interesting. I don't have anything, what am I going to say that somebody else is going to find of value? And so they start to cheapen themselves as to the experiences they've had and the accolades and accomplishments they've had. They just don't realize, no, you actually have some pretty good insights here that you can offer the business community. No, you actually do have some experience here that could really be of value to someone. What you think is obvious and just clear isn't so obvious and clear to everyone else. And so for you to actually now find yourself as interesting and being someone that's willing to go out there and be vulnerable, yeah, that's one of the challenges that I've faced as I've worked with accounting firm owners, is just trying to help them realize that what they have to say does matter and they need to be willing to share it. And that's kind of one of those challenges that I see that they oftentimes face. So in addition to what you find them experiencing, I'm curious, what is something that you find holds them back from acting? Which is to say, they work with you, you've given them some advice, you've given them some action items, they're clear as to what they need to do. What do you think holds them back from actually acting on it and moving forward?
Well, typically we are working with clients and we're actually doing a lot of the doing. So when it comes to acting and taking that next step, that would be, for example, if they say like they're going to record a video or something to go with a piece of content, that might be a place where they don't act and actually follow through, because right now AI isn't that good that we can just create those without them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if it is something where like we need their actual acting, I think it's the same thing. They have the fear and it holds them back. But a lot of times if you're working with someone and you're paying for a service, there's the saying, whenever you pay attention. And that's so true, because if you're paying for a service, you're probably going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are someone listening to this and you're like, hey, I have wanted to put myself out there, not just having someone that you're working with to like help you with the strategy and the process, but that accountability piece of somebody who you are paying to say, hey, we need this from you on this date because we're going to be posting it on this date. That can be super helpful to just have literally that accountability, make a huge difference.
I like that. I like that. All right. So I'm going to switch gears on you. We've been talking about
Okay.
marketing. Marketing is clearly what we're doing to initially meet with and find that potential customer. I'm curious, what advice do you have regarding the sales cycle, where you're nurturing individuals, where you're trying to position yourself as the authority and educate that potential client as to the services you offer? Obviously, all of that nurturing can take time. For some, it's months. For others, it's years until you have that opportunity to sell your services to them. What can you say about the nurturing process that exists from having marketed and found that individual to now actually meeting with them and offering yourselves?
It's huge. And I would say that that's often put on the back burner. So from the time that someone says that they are actually interested, or maybe they come in through a form, they should be put in a process that nurtures them until they either, self-select out, or they become a client. And that could be a couple months. That could be a year. I know personally, even like within Leaders Online, we've had people that literally came into our world years ago, and then they're finally ready to start working with us at this point. And so having some sort of nurturing process, whether that is, hey, I'm going to check in with everyone in my pipeline once a quarter, I'm going to send them a weekly newsletter or even a monthly newsletter. Something needs to be in place to move these people through the client experience. And also for people who, let's say you've had a call with, or they've specifically said, reach out to me at this point in the future, there should be very specific tasks in place to personally reach out to those people. Because a lot of times people aren't ready right now and things do come up. It's not necessarily an excuse. Like you'll see sometimes firms are like, well, I only want to work with the people who are ready right now. They have their ducks in a row, and that's fine. That's great. But you're really missing out on a lot of great clients and opportunities just because that's not always the reality. And so make sure that you are using systems, whether it's as simple as an Excel sheet or you're using a project management tool like ClickUp or Asana, or maybe one more specific to your firm like Carbon or Canopy. It's not that hard to put a few processes in place that say, hey, remember to reach out to this prospect. Hey, remember to send out your monthly newsletter to touch base with everyone in your database. Those things matter. And that one email or that one phone call, that can be extremely beneficial to your firm's revenue.
I appreciate those little tidbits of information as to what they can be doing as it relates to the nurturing that they're doing and setting those reminders as you explained. The thing I would add to that, and I'm curious what you would say about this cadence, is I find that if you reach out to your potential contacts and nurture them too frequently, you have the potential of pushing them away because you seem kind of overwhelming as to the information you're giving. It's like, wow, I didn't ask for this. But at the same time, if you're too infrequent as to your marketing or the nurturing that you're doing, you run the risk of having to reintroduce yourself again. It's like, who is this again? Who is this? And so I find that there's a sweet spot. 3 weeks or sooner is too much, but 6 weeks and longer is too infrequent. And so it's between like that 3 to 6 week period that if I'm marketing to them, I find, I am still relevant. They know who I am. I'm still in their mind, their top of mind awareness thing with Toma. All of those things are in that space of 3 to 6 windows, or that 3 to 6 window period. What would you add to that?
Yeah, I think it kind of depends on how someone entered into your world. So having some baseline of, hey, that 3 to 6 week window, that's great as general. But if you can get more specific and start using data to kind of customize these follow-ups and these experiences, that can be helpful. And I can add some context here. So for example, if we are running a campaign for a client, say on Facebook, to book a call for a tax planning session, and let's say they opt in, but they don't quite schedule an appointment. They've given us their name, their email, their phone, and some other information, but they never clicked actually, okay, I'm going to talk to you at this time. We found that it's good to send a couple follow-up emails right away in that first week to be like, hey, you expressed interest in this. Here's a case study of how we can help. Is this what you're wanting to achieve? Ask them just a few times. And then if they don't take action, pause a bit to then nurture them to say, maybe you invite them to a live webinar that you're doing to talk about tax planning. Or then you're going to send them a blog that talks about year-end tax planning strategies, and you nurture them a bit differently. Whereas, let's say someone you talk to on the phone and they say, you know what, I would love to do this with you, but I'm in the process of maybe going through a change in my business. I'm adding a new business partner, or I'm selling off this part of the business, but keep me posted down the line. Okay, we're not going to send them those emails to try to get them to schedule a call so quickly. But hey, we might invite them to that webinar down the line and say, hey, you expressed interest, and it's a little bit more of a personalized invite. So I always am for not complicating it, but as you have more data, you can start to build out different ways to route people, and you can use automation and technology to make this easier. Don't feel like you have to do that to start, but it's good to always be improving your systems and processes over time.
Yeah, what you shared there is what I refer to as the customer journey. And what you're trying to do is define what's the ideal experience they should have as they learn about you and become acquainted with you. And so, to your point, when you first get that initial introduction and exposure, if they request information, you immediately want to respond. You want to be quick in that engagement. And so that's typically an immediate email, maybe a text message that's going out, perhaps a phone call if possible. So you're going to do that. And then generally speaking, you've got, as you were describing, this cadence of things that are going to happen. Maybe a day later, something that you're going to offer them, 3 days later, something, 5 days later, something, 7 days later. But then you start to get into this cadence of maybe a monthly newsletter. Perhaps you're offering a webinar. Maybe you're inviting them to a meeting. You're extending a variety of things because different things appeal to different people and you don't know what's going to resonate. Is it perhaps here's a podcast episode that I appeared on as a guest, and here's something that you might find interesting that I shared on the show. Here's a webinar that I did where we were doing some explanations of various things that you might find interesting. Oh, and by the way, here's this newsletter that I have, and I highlighted a potential, or some of my clients, you might be interested in who they are. All these things are going to then pepper them with things that resonate with one person and not another, and vice versa. But all of them are then nurturing them to see you as the expert, and more importantly, understand the services that you're offering. They're being educated as to how they might benefit from working with you. All of a sudden, they're going to be open to that meeting, that engagement, where you're going to sit down with you and you're going to find out about them and extend your services. So my next question happens to be regarding sales. Do you have any advice as it relates to that accounting professional that's worried about how do I sit in front of a client and extend my services and ask for the business?
That requires a different mindset of realizing that you are trying to help your client get a transformation. And you selling is simply offering them a chance to have this transformation. And so, if you can realize that selling is serving and you make that mindset shift, then a lot of times that feeling of being salesy goes away. And you can also sell with integrity. So this doesn't mean pushing bad practices or even, some people say, hey, you should collect the credit card on the phone. If that doesn't feel like something that is in integrity with who you are as a person, that's fine. Don't try to do things that don't feel good. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be selling, because if you aren't selling, then you're not serving.
Oh, I'm loving this. That is an excellent statement. If you're not selling, you're not serving. The way I would add to that, and it's what I do with my clients, is I first of all address the stigma of selling is theoretically convincing someone to do something they wouldn't otherwise do themselves. And I think that's a horrible definition of what sales is. It's serving, as you just explained. And so a lot of people as accounting professionals, they may not see themselves as salespeople. They don't want to refer to them as salespeople because they think it's that first definition of, oh, I don't want to be that sleazy person that gets people to do things they later regret. No, what it is it's serving, as you indicated, because as an accounting firm, what we're doing is we're addressing a need that that client has. And in my opinion, it's two peers coming together, two business owners with a problem that needs to be addressed. And it's these two grown adult individuals saying, you have a need. Let's figure out how we can best address the situation and resolve the need that you have in a very affordable way. And if at the end of the day, we come to a resolution that's a win-win for both parties, this was a success because the business owner has a need. Everybody needs their accounting, bookkeeping, and tax taken care of and done, and it needs to be done timely and accurately. So there's no question of whether or not the need exists. The question is who is going to take care of it? With whom are they going to engage? And so if we can be that person that offers the reasonable solution, of course they're going to pay for it. And like you said, selling is serving. We're just there to actually come to the best conclusion possible. And it's, again, two adults, two peers collaborating on a situation, a need, and coming up with the best solution. So love that selling is serving philosophy. That's a very good one. All right. So what I would like to ask now is, what advice do you have to accounting professionals who want to grow their business? They just don't know where to start. What can I do? I need more clients. Where do I begin?
Yeah, definitely start with the 4C process, because this is a process that anyone can implement, whether they are brand new and they are having those feelings of like, hey, I want to find new clients. I don't know where to start. Or if you are someone's like, hey, I've got some marketing, some sales processes in place, but I just want to supercharge what I'm doing. It works for every firm, all firms of all sizes. And it gives you a clear roadmap of not just what to do today, but what to do every single day so that you can hit your goals. And it's something that you can expand over time and take not just on one platform, but on other social media platforms as you do want to grow and scale your business.
And what would those C's be?
So it's to choose a platform. It's to, and we kind of talked about at the beginning, like it's not just choosing it, but setting it up right, optimizing it. And Roger, I believe you're going to include a handout. It'll walk them through everything they need to do on the platform. It's to connect every day intentionally with these people. So go out and find them. You can't just hide in a corner, just like if you go to a networking event. If you go and you stand in the corner and you don't talk to anyone, you're not going to meet anyone. So you need to connect with them and converse with them every day. That's the third C, is have real conversations with these people. And if you aren't sure what to say, then start thinking about questions you can ask them, like how they got started in their industry. Look up lists. So like, for example, in the accounting industry, there's top women in accounting, there's 40 under 40, there's top innovators, there's all these lists, and they're there for every industry. Go find a list and congratulate people on being on it. I promise you, people will be happy to hear from you whenever you say, "Hey, congrats for making this list." Already opened up the door. So converse with them and then create for them every single day. And you're having conversations with clients. They're asking you questions. You don't have to think of what to create. You're already getting the questions feeded to you. So start recording your calls, run that through ChatGPT and say, hey, what content ideas are in here? And when you do this and you do this repetitively day in, day out, you're going to grow your firm and you're going to grow it being centered around the people that you want to reach rather than just random referrals. Hey, my mom's friend, she needs a new accountant. And by the way, she only wants to pay, X dollars. That might not be the way that you want to grow your firm. It's probably not. You probably want to grow it with intention, and this strategy will help you do it.
I love it. The 4 C's. This is perfect and an excellent segue to the offer. So what we've got here is Katie is providing to our listeners, every one of you, the opportunity to get a foolproof guide to how to find and connect with your ideal clients online and increase your impact, influence, and income. So I want you to go to the episode description, and there you will find the link to actually take advantage of this opportunity to get the 4 C's process. So definitely take advantage of this opportunity to get the free foolproof guide. And in doing so, implement these principles in your business to market effectively and get the clients that you deserve. In addition to that, I want you to go to the episode description and there also find the turnkey guide for accounting professionals. This is the turnkey business plan for business owners to actually have what I refer to as the premier accounting firm in your area. So take advantage of the opportunity to go and see what it is you can do to work on your business by implementing the tried and proven turnkey processes that you can in fact have to have the premier accounting firm in your area. Now, with that, I also want to invite you to get the book, Your Strategic Accountant. This is basically an outline of the services that you should be offering that business clients need from you as an accounting professional. It's those things that they're willing to pay for and pay you to do. So check out Your Strategic Accountant and see what it is you can be doing to, in fact, offer these quality services for your clients. Now, as a summary, I'd like to just kind of recap a few of the things that we've heard today and then come back to Katie for a closing thought. But as a recap, one of the things that was really fun is just hearing her start into the accounting profession. Clearly, accounting is the language of business. She was given great advice, went and got that skill, became a CPA, but then likewise tapped back into her earlier interest and love of marketing. She was able to go to the firm and recognize that maybe they needed the marketing, but didn't really see or appreciate what she was able to offer. Therefore, she went out and started her firm, and in doing so, started working with firms of various sizes, offering marketing and sales services. Now, this is great simply because of the fact that we all need to be growing our businesses, and more importantly, getting the clients that are willing to pay us for what it is we do well. So we talked about marketing, what that looks like, and in that, we talked about social media. And I thought it was great advice for her to simply say, pick one platform, optimize it, go deep, get involved, participate, and really just try and focus on it and not become overwhelmed by all the other distractions that are out there. Find one that you resonate with, that you like. And I think one of the best indicators of what you should be on is what is the go-to one that you enjoy and that you naturally participate in already. Just basically get a presence on what it is you already like and enjoy. In addition to that, we talked about ChatGPT or the AI socials that are out there. Basically how to use them for brainstorming purposes to maybe complement the things that you're considering doing in these platforms, just so that you're not kind of thinking of these ideas in a vacuum, so that you're wondering, oh, criminy, what am I going to do tomorrow? I have no idea. Well, get AI involved and you can brainstorm these ideas and actually flesh out some of the things that you're wanting to actually post. And then in doing so, have some creativity to the whole process. In addition to that, one of the things that I also thought we really kind of dived into is the idea of nurturing the contacts that we have. I like that we talked about how once you've made the initial contact, there needs to be a nurturing process that you can do to educate them and position yourself as an authority, always leading towards and with the intention of meeting with them to offer your services. That being the case, you're going to then grow your business and obviously do things well. But she also brought up something that was important to understand about marketing, which is it's not the short-term win necessarily that we're always looking for. It's that long-term strategy or process that's going to ensure that we're going to grow the business over time. So yes, the short wins are necessary, and she addressed that, but it's with that long-term objective that we're trying to focus on. So a lot of great insights and takeaways today. We ended with the 4 C's, and clearly I want to suggest that you go ahead and take advantage of that offer to get those. But with that being said, Katie, do you have a closing thought?
Yeah, so just like anything in life that's new and unknown, it can feel scary, it can feel hard. and you can lack confidence around it. But until you do the thing and you put in the reps and you learn, only then will it become easy. And marketing is no different. Anyone can learn marketing. You are an accountant. You have done hard things. You are smart. You are a professional. And like I said, anyone can do marketing, but it might take some practice to become competent at it. But with the right practice, the right steps, you'll be golden.
I love it. I love it. You are interesting, and what you have to say does matter. So that is wonderful. So, with all that being said, let me just end and conclude with this first thing. If you haven't already subscribed to the podcast, definitely do so. Love to have you as a listener, someone that can actually come in and actually contribute to our conversations, leave some feedback for us. We always like to see what our listeners are having to say, but definitely set your notifications so that each and every week you're notified as to the new episodes that we've released of the experts sharing with us the various things that we can be doing to work on our business to, in fact, have the premier accounting firm in your area. In addition, I want to invite you to GrowCon. GrowCon is an annual conference for the owners of bookkeeping, accounting, and tax businesses. GrowCon is the conference that you must attend. Why? Because it's here on the stage that we bring in the experts to share with us the insights of what it is we ought to be doing in our business to market and grow, getting the clients we deserve, to offer quality accounting services, and ultimately work efficiently and effectively, looking at the tech stacks and the different tools and resources that are available to ensure that we're doing this work profitably. You do not want to miss this conference. Each and every year we bring to the stage those heavy hitters, those individuals that we need to hear from. Likewise, you get to meet your peers, those people that are like you, growing and working on their business. It's here you make friendships, you collaborate, and you go back with new things that you can use to take care of your clients. Also, you're going to meet the staff here at Universal Accounting Center, those individuals that are committed to helping you be in business for yourself, but not by yourself with Universal Accounting Center. Now, with all that being said, I want to encourage you to go to universalaccounting.com. It's there that we have some playlists created for you to binge listen as it relates to your current needs in your firm, whether it ranges from marketing, selling, pricing, client onboarding, mental health, tech stacks, training staff. They're all there, the experts and what it is they have to say about those. So go binge listen to those episodes. Also, with regards to today's discussion and the others that we've had, if you'd like to apply these principles in your business, feel free to reach out to Universal Accounting directly. You can contact us by going to universalaccountingschool.com, or you can contact us by phone calling 801-265-3777. And always remember this, if it's about accounting, it is universal. Take care, be safe, and have a wonderful day out there. Katie, that's awesome.
Well, thanks for having me, Roger. I super appreciate it.
Yeah, we did well. This was a great conversation. I enjoyed it. What I'm going to have you do now is go to the chat, and I'll have you record that promo piece.
Okay. For the we discussed, do you want that like pretty short and brief?
You can say as much as you'd like there.
Okay, awesome.
Just a nice little summary of whatever our conversation was.
Okay. This is Katie Thomas, CPA, and it was an absolute Okay, let me start over. This is Katie Thomas, CPA. It was an absolute pleasure to record with Roger an episode of Building the Premier Accounting Firm. We discussed everything from social media, how you can use it to grow your firm, to short and long-term strategies. We talked about how you should be using ChatGPT in your marketing efforts. We also talked about the proper way to nurture leads and so much more. I invite you to listen and join us.
Perfect. You're awesome.